and welcome to Middle Aged Geeks. I'm one of your hosts, Phil, and I'm joined by my co-host, who is definitely going to have PTSD after watching this movie this week. It's Mr. Daz Murphy. Daz, how are you?
I'm good, and you're fucking bang right there. I just watched this movie watched it about 30 minutes ago, and I was struggling to have a conversation with my wife when I got home. My daughter's just like, I don't, my brain's a bit all over the place right now. But yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into that movie. Holy shit. How are you?
I'm pretty good, yeah. I've watched a good bit of cool new stuff this week, so that'll be good to talk about. I suppose before we get into what we've been watching and playing, though, why don't we start off with any news? Do you have any that jumped out at you this week?
Mainly one thing, which was the Mickey 17 trailer from Bong Joon-ho, the long-awaited follow-up to Parasite, his Oscar-winning movie from a few years ago. And the trailer, and starring Robert Pattinson and Toni Collette and Mark Ruffalo and Naomi Aki, and it's everything I wanted it to be.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's based on the novel Mickey 7, which I've read a bit of it but never finished it. But it just looks fantastic, and you're always worried about kind of clone movies that, like, they're not done that much anymore. Like you have Moon and stuff like that do it well, but this looks like a fucking riot. Looks like Robert Pattinson is having the time of his fucking life. It looks so good. It's much funnier than I thought.
Yeah, I was laughing through the trailer, and it's got some cool music to it, and it's just a fun trailer, man. It looks like it's going to be an excellent movie, and
it's releasing in January, which is normally kind of a graveyard area where people just kind of dump movies that they kind of just want to get rid of or just are not too confident on studio wise. But a lot of people saying that just because of the actor strike and all that and the writer strike, that so many movies have been pushed to 2025.
Yeah.
Like 2025 is fucking just stacked, where it's not the usual like dump something in January or February after the Oscars, because it's a long 11 months to the next Oscars. So it's but hopefully it, like someone said, it might get a limited run in the States in December or something to qualify for the Oscars or something. But
okay,
yeah, January, watch this space. Looks fucking brilliant. And yeah, one other small bit of news where some reviews for Transformers 1 coming out, and it's getting some pretty decent reviews. Like from the first trailer, I think we were both kind of on the fence. Like, I think it
was more to the faces. We weren't too mad.
Yeah.
These robot smirks and stuff. But man, the reviews sound like there fucking could be a bit of crack. So definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of them said that it's actually quite darker than any iteration of it so far, and that it's not the kind of cutesy buddy movie that maybe the first trailer played it a little bit as.
Okay.
And that it's more of it's kind of a tragic tale of kind of friends become foes, and it's showing these guys before they became Optimus Prime and Megatron. And I think that's very interesting to look at that dynamic of like kind of best friends and whatever. It's just like Magneto and Charlotte Xavier, kind of thing, where there's suddenly they're good friends, but then their allegiances and their viewpoints just slightly different. It just becomes catastrophic. So sign me up for that one. Can't wait to see that. How about yourself?
Like a couple of things that popped out. One of them was obviously I watched that trailer as well. We haven't even got Gladiator 2 yet, and Ridley Scott coming out saying that he's planning on making Gladiator 3, which is just I know, and it's just like we haven't even got the second one. Just you keep your head on until we've had a look at this one first.
That's
isn't it? Like I don't know. Like because what is he? Is he late 80s now?
Yeah.
Look, fucking Clint Eastwood's
great,
going, but it's
great. That's all well and good, but I'm hoping that the movie is fucking great and epic and all that stuff. It's that hip hop song in the trailer that just threw everyone off. If they just put a bit of classic fucking Bach or fucking cinematic epic score or something else, everyone would be going, this looks fucking class.
I still didn't like the Rhino, to be honest.
Oh, the Rhino's stupid, yeah, but all mescal. Happy days.
Yeah, I know, the fucking cast is insane. Like it could be great, and I can't wait to see it. It's just I think maybe really just step back a little bit, get and formulate some more ideas. Like the Prometheus. I love Prometheus, but he does have hit and misses. Like, and like sometimes it goes hit miss, and Covenant, not great. The Martian, fantastic. He has hits and severe misses sometimes. So I'm just hoping this is another hit. But yeah, just when I heard him talking about it, like, Jesus, mate, like, let's just get this one out of the way. Yeah. And the only other thing is something you brought up last week, which was the PlayStation 5 Pro. And for the anniversary, 30th anniversary, they're releasing like basically a retro style looking one. So it's got the old grey, the greyish colour to it, to the whatchamacallit on the side of it. What do they call it? The shells, I guess, what the fuck they're called. Like, yeah. And the face plates or whatever the fuck. And then, but what I really want is they are selling some of the controllers individually. And I'd love one of them. It's just because the PlayStation button is the old coloured one.
Cool. That'd be nice.
It's two-tone grey, and it looks the absolute business, but they're all limited quantity. So I'll have to be, I think it's the 25th next week it is, that the pre-orders, 26th, that the pre-orders go up.
What price are they?
I don't know. I think what the standard one is, around 60 quid a controller or something at the moment, I think.
60 or 70, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll probably charge more than that.
180 euros.
Yeah, they've got both. They've got the kind of the newer one, the Edge one, or whatever it's called, the newer newer controller, so you can get kind of an Elite or a regular version. I don't really care enough to have the fucking Elite one. I'm just happy enough with my regular.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing else really popped out this week. It was kind of a slow enough week, news wise. So look, with that news stuff out of the way, we'll move on then to what we have been playing and watching this week. So, Daz, yourself, what have you been getting into this past week?
Well, after my TV repair DIY failings last week, I got a new TV and I was like, fucking sweet, let's go. And I played and watched pretty much fuck all. You know what I mean?
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, because I was dying to watch or to play Astrobot on PS5, but then I know once I play that, I'll just get absolutely sucked into it because the people are just saying Game of the Year kind of stuff, and I really want to finish Star Wars Outlaws. So I'm 27 hours into that. The main story is supposed to be like 12 to 15 hours, and I'm just like I still have at least 5 to 10 hours left on that. So I'm going to played a little bit of that during the week, so I'm going to get stuck into that and play Astrobot, and I'll talk about that next week then. But I watched. I sat down to watch the first episode of The Penguin, and I got about 15 minutes in, and it was like 1:45 in the morning, and I was like, I'm probably going to fall asleep here. But that first 15 minutes was fucking brilliant.
I watched
I was just like, oh my God, this is fantastic. There's early scene in that episode when he's just sitting down with a guy, and it's like a 5-minute chat, and it's just the range and the talent on show from Colin Farrell just sitting there reacting. It's like kind of Corleone fucking Godfather vibes. It's all in his eyes and his face. He's just
because it's through prosthetics as well.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. So I can't wait to get stuck into.
Yeah, I mean, we won't spoil it for anybody, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Like, there's even a bit of heart to it. I thought Kristen Miliotti's fantastic, and it's just I'm dying for more of it. So yeah, that'll be every whatever Friday or whenever it comes out in the States. It's fucking top drawer stuff. So delighted with that. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. A lot of Peppa. That's the thing when you have kids, you spend all this money on fucking new TVs. I end up watching stuff on my phone while she's watching fucking Peppa Pig on the new TV. That's just the way it goes. How about yourself?
Like I've watched a few. A couple, obviously, Penguin was one of the new things that I watched. I also watched a couple of movies. Well, I watched one called because I've seen the ad for it called Afraid. And I think it was one of these ones that came out on. I think it might have gotten a cinema release, maybe in the States, but also came out in streaming at the same time. But it's John Cho, Catherine Waterhouse, and it's basically like an AI has this. They get access to this new AI, and the whole thing. And of course, like what happens to anybody who gets an AI put into their smart home. It goes bananas. But it's just so PG. Like it doesn't come alive and fucking, fling a blender across the room with somebody's head or anything like that. Like it's not like, this isn't like Demon Seed or one of those movies. No, it was so mild. It was mild as fuck. It was just, this is shite. This isn't horror. It's not. It's barely drama, comedy, anything. It was what the fuck was John Cho doing starring in it? It's crap. And then I watched Agatha, the
Okay.
yeah, Agatha All Along, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
All right.
Um,
Super.
yeah, like I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people were saying they preferred the second episode to the first. I kind of preferred the first one. I just, that thing that we saw in the trailer with the her as like an FBI agent or whatever she is.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't go on for long enough. I would have like, because they have that, and then they have kind of like a fake credits, like a fake opening sequence to a cop show, and it's done like a real cop show,
Yeah.
and it's that she's in, and it's just it's really cool. I kind of just wish they had stuck to that, and I know why they didn't, because we saw it already in WandaVision. We saw WandaVision go through it.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out exactly what it was, and they thought, oh, she's okay, she's created this. See, they couldn't spend too long having her in this, because it's like, oh, we already fucking done that, So I knew why, but I was really enjoying the vibe of it. I don't know. It is getting slated a little bit, online. Like people, I think it seems to have come down from one interview where what's it called? An interviewer from Variety had asked each star as they came into the premiere or whatever. So I'm hearing that this is the gayest thing Marvel has ever done, and the interviewer is gay himself, and he's asked this question to each cast member who comes in. And Aubrey Plaza says, well, I hope so. That's what I signed up for. And it's real. It was throwaway. It's nothing. Like, who cares if it is? Sexuality isn't even discussed in it. Like, there's no hidden message trying to turn you or your kids gay. Like, it's just, there's none of that. But yet, that's what the backlash seems to be. People are saying, oh, this is just like the acolyte and all this. Like, don't fucking, don't start with that shit. Give it time. Like,
you just got to be fair. You know what I mean? Even with the acolyte, people were, the first two episodes, aired together, and people watched it and they kind of went, okay, kind of like the first episode. Second one was a bit, whatever. You don't straight away go the first day, this is fucking absolute shit. You give it a chance, and by episode 3 or 4 or 5, then you kind of know if something is a turd or if it's mid-tier, or if it's generally, if something is excellent. I think you, like we were talking about the Penguin, you kind of know in that first episode. More so nowadays. I mean, back in the day with The Wire, you would, a lot of people watching The Wire and just like, oh, it's really slow and whatever, but it's, it takes its time. But generally these days, you kind of have an idea of the quality of the writing and something in the first to 2 episodes.
Yeah, and the first, like, I enjoyed them. Like, I thought it was funny. I liked the vibe. I think the only thing is, I'm not maybe a big Catherine Hahn fan. I know a lot of people love her to bits, but I think like overacting can be a great thing. Like, it can be great. You have to look at your likes of Jim Carrey and other people who use it to their benefit, and Nicolas Cage, all that kind of stuff, that it really works for them. But I find that she just seems to use it all the time, and I find her to be a bit much. I think she can do, and I don't know why she's doing it sometimes. Like, she's decent and all the rest of it. Yeah. She seems to love the character.
Is it kind of like kind of stage play, kind of like histrionics?
Yeah, but I find she does that in every movie she's in. She's super over the top, in everything. Like, and she was that way. Like, she really. And I get it in WandaVision, which was supposed to be a character in whatever this TV show kind of
because
thing.
It made sense, because there's an eerie kind of undertones to the whole thing.
Yeah, anyway. And because she's supposed to be this wacky next door neighbor, but then when she does become Agatha Harkness, and we see her, she's still doing it. And like, I remember as far back as like Anchorman, even, which was in the first Anchorman movie, and like again, it was just, she had a small part, but she was just overacting. It was like, I'm just that's one thing that kind of bothers me. But to be honest, it was grand, and like, there's a kid in it, and they haven't said who he is yet, and I'm wondering if maybe he's Wiccan, who is like, he turns out to be one of Wanda's sons. So she has the two boys. Like, later on in like the Marvel comics, basically they're not children anymore. They've kind of grown up, or they've kind of been put into other bodies or some shit like that their spirits or personalities are put into these bodies, and then they end up in the Young Avengers. And I know that he was kind of like, he's a witchy kind of dude, and he's gay in the comics with
a witchy kind of dude.
Well, his name is Wiccan, like, and in the comics he's gay, and so this kid seems to have that kind of vibe about him. Like, he seems to be so into the kind of occult, and even looks a bit like the character and stuff. We'll see if that's where they end up going with him. But I'm intrigued for more. I think people are just slamming it straight away. As you said, give it a 3 or 4 episodes before kind of making a call on
Got to
it.
be fair. Like, you can't just
Yeah,
jump on everything Star Wars just because the Acolyte was atrocious. Just like,
yeah. I mean, like that's it. Like, I mean, I know people are out for Disney's blood, but like, and I'm not a massive fan of the way they handle their press and their PR around these things. But like, I genuinely think anybody is on the fence about checking it out, give it a watch and see what you think. It's good fun. The jokes for me landed for the most part. Aubrey Plaza is just born for this kind of role. You always feel like she should be in this or Wednesday or the other. Like, she would have been perfect in Beetlejuice. I mean, she's just that's the kind of person she is. And she's just she's brilliant in this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the new episode coming out next week.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And not really anything else other than it's just something for, and I feel like I'm flogging a dead horse a little bit, but do you remember last week I was saying about the reviewers, and I was saying, like, some people don't obviously see the movie, but it was really interesting because I was just kind of reading reviews of some of the stuff that's come out over the next couple of weeks, and I like your man Jeremy Jans, because he's been around forever and he does cool reviews, and I saw people were saying that he was calling him a racist and all this stuff, and I was like, oh Jesus, no, not. And I was like, fuck, not another person I like. Yeah, it's got to turn out to be a dickhead. I'm sick of fucking, you fucking, like, I'm a fan of Bill Murray or Kevin Spacey, and they turn out to be creeps. Like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, fuck, no way. So then I looked up what he actually said, and he's getting slandered and called racist because he reviewed that Matt Walsh movie. I'll be straight up. I'm a leftist. I don't agree with Matt Walsh or most of his political side of stuff, but I at the same time I would still watch it just out of sheer amount of interest. He's this movie, Am I Racist? It's called, and it's basically,
I saw something of it.
It's essentially,
I didn't know it was Matt Walsh. Yeah,
it's essentially Borat, but for conservatives, in America. Whereas, when Sacha Baron Cohen did it, he was taking the piss of the mostly conservative people, and about guns and about sexuality and stuff and all that. And this is basically that. He's kind of meeting up with people who make money off the kind of the whole DEI thing and all that. And whether you agree with it or not, all he did was review it. And it was honestly, and at the end of watching his video, you wouldn't know whether he was on the left or on the right, because I watched the review to find out. I wouldn't know if watching his video whether he's left or right, because it was just,
he just reviewed
saying
the movie.
What things he enjoyed, what things he didn't, what things were genuinely interesting, what things he preferred, would ask more questions here and there. And that was it. It was just a short, like 8-minute or something is all it is. And then
his reviews are good.
They're great. I really like them. They're really simple and smart.
Yeah,
and he keeps them simple and smart. It's just him, red background, and he just, they're good. They're quick and they're informative, and I enjoy them. But yeah, it was just wild to see on reviewers again, because what stood out was because he's one of the few that would review it. So on like Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has an audience score of like 98%, thousands of reviews, huge audience score. But it only has 10 reviews from critics, because critics refused to review it. And again, it's people that are afraid to probably what is going to happen, like what Jeremy Jahns, that they're going to get labeled as a racist just for reviewing something. And just like, where is your integrity? Even if you don't agree with this dude, and I don't agree with him, I think he's a misogynist. I don't like his whole, women should be fucking housewife, fucking children, it's evangelical stuff. He's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, if it's my job, if someone's paying me to go and do these reviews, I'd go, yeah, fucking do it. Like, I'll go and try and be as unbiased as I can and review it. But like, it's mad. Like, it had so few reviews the other day that it wasn't even getting a critic score, because it has to have like a minimum of 8. And because it wasn't even enough, it just had a little blank space where the critic score would be. And so it's wild. I don't get boycotting a movie because of your own political opinions is just, that's not what your job is. You are not doing your fucking job, And I don't know. I just thought it was wild after what we were talking about last week with people, maybe not even seeing the movie. This time they're very open with the fact that they haven't seen the movie. But nothing really else that's popped out for me that I found interesting this week. But yeah, look, with that stuff out of the way, let's move on then to the main section, which is the movie review. And Daz, God bless his soul, is going to take us through that. So Daz, whenever you are ready, take it away.
I just got sick of my mouth thinking about this movie. Holy fucking shit. I don't even know where to begin with this. I'll start with the nitty gritty and the brief synopsis on IMDb says a fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. And I remember when you mentioned this to me, it was in something that a news thing or something, and I think I was editing that week, and I went through the trailer just to put it up over your section on YouTube, and watched a bit of the trailer, and then it was gone from my mind because it just looked like one of those movies that I'm never going to watch. Last week you said, I think we should do The Substance, and I was like, right, okay. And I purposely didn't watch anything. I didn't watch any reviews, didn't look at anything on Rotten Tomatoes or anything, or a trailer, and went into it. And your text when you saw it, you just said, "Oh, look at you were not prepared for the final 20 minutes of this movie," and I was just like, "Oh, fuck me sideways!" Like, how fucking scary is this? But the best thing about this movie is it's not a movie that is scary in the way that I don't like scary movies. It's just like a body horror, crazy fucking movie. So yeah, but anyway, that IMDb brief little logline does not do this movie justice, because this movie is fucking batshit crazy, and I think it's fucking fantastic. I absolutely love
thank God! I thought this was going to be one where be going, I'd be fucking shouting about how much I loved it, and you would be going,
Oh, I honestly think this might be my favorite movie of the year so far.
I am over the moon. I'm over the moon to hear that.
I could not believe it. My jaw was dropping multiple times through it. Like, the cinema was packed. When I say packed, it was a small enough cinema. It was definitely about like 40 people in there. And an eerie silence and a lot of like, Jesus, and gasps and everything like that. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Before we just give a little bit of brief rundown, and then you can give me your thoughts on it. So it's a second movie from French director Qualley Farja after her movie 2017's Revenge, which straight away I'm going back to fucking see that.
Yeah, it's good.
She is instantly every movie she makes from now until the day I die, I'm going to fucking see as soon as humanly possible. It's a budget of 17.5 million, which is amazing for what's on show. Here, it's like some of the fucking visuals. Mother of fucking sweet divine. Starring Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid, and all of them are in different ways sublime. They're just fantastic. Before, I lose my train of thought completely because this movie blew me away. What were your thoughts when you came out of cinema or while watching it?
I was over the moon. Because I'd seen the trailer and was like, okay, this sounds like my cup of tea. You know, Margaret Qualley, fully in love with her. She's amazing. And so I was just looking forward to it. And I'd seen Carlisle's first movie, seen Revenge, and like it's a different buzz. It's not body horror. It's basically this I don't want to give anything away, but it's kind of like this woman kind of on the run. Stuff happens at the start, and she's trying to get away from these three dudes who are hunting her down. And it's very much
a different genre altogether.
Yeah, and it's her getting her revenge then on them. They leave her for dead, and she then like I spit in your grave kind of thing, something along those lines. They leave her for dead, thinking she's gone, but she ends up not being, and against the odds, she comes back and fucking takes her revenge on them. And it's beautifully shot, and they're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. So some of the shots of the desert and the mountains are gorgeous. So I knew she was going to have a really cool visual side to it. And so, but some of the stuff in this, the use of the camera stuff, especially around Dennis Quaid, they come almost fisheye stuff when he's right up in your face, and it's the when he's eating the food and stuff, and it's so fucking visceral and
close up and just unnervingly close to his mouth.
And we'll get into the performances. Like, Jesus, Demi Moore is absolutely astounding and
career best.
Do you know anyone who would be ballsy enough at 62 to be getting in the buff in a movie? But she is fantastic. This is the best I've seen her. She's incredible. And I'd love to see her do another movie like this, and I hope that this is one of those things where, because I haven't seen her in that much. I was saying to Dee, because she'd watched it. Long. Yeah, I was saying I rewatched Mr. Brooks recently, and that's the last thing I remember seeing her in. And thinking, that was cool. But yeah, like, she's great. Margaret Qualley is fantastic. It's just It's an absolute feast for the eyes. It's shot so well. It's so clever. You will have seen people who've seen the trailer see it almost, you're wondering what decade it was kind of set in, but they do it purposely. You've got it is loads of shit that's from the 80s, but loads of shit that's modern, and it's because it's to represent the two of them. The as you said, the substance that splits them. And it's so well done. The visuals, the nods to other horrors, which we'll get into as we go through. It's just, I'm absolutely delighted. Like, I think there's probably 3 movies I've seen this year that have like major horror elements are like Poor Things, this and Late Night with the Devil. I think they're all. I think all 3 of them might be in my top 5 when we do our episode later on in the year. It's been a great for this. I'm dying to hear what because I'm surprised. I thought you would enjoy the performance, but maybe the movie wouldn't be for you. So I'm dying to hear your thoughts.
This is like a modern day The Fly for me. And
yes,
I put it on that pedestal.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I put it on that pedestal. It didn't fall away in the way you would expect a movie like this. When you've got a really clever premise, and then it would just turn it up to 11 in the last act in a way that is unnecessary, or when we talked about long legs and stuff like that, where it just goes somewhere and it's kind of like it didn't need to, but it almost went that far for effect. Where this, and it does absolutely, it turns it up to 15 the last 20 minutes of this movie, but it just so makes sense that it just goes there. It's just like that's just, of course it's going to go there. Well, you don't expect it to, but when it does, you're just going, oh, okay, I didn't expect this, and it's fucking wild. But like, I just thought this was like, from a directorial point of view, like the movie is fantastic. Like, it won, the screenplay award at Cannes or something like that. And rightly so. It's phenomenal fucking script. Performances are amazing, but the cinematography, it's just it kind of blew my mind into visually and sound design and all that. We'll get into all this stuff, but visually, it's so like you're just going, oh my god, that's so brilliant. Like, keep saying, oh my god, that's so brilliant, but it totally services exactly what's happening on screen. So it's never showy. It's never like, oh, look at this cool shot I did. It's you're still completely in. Like we talk about the stuff with Dennis Quaid, or all the shots when
long hallway and stuff.
The long hallway, the TV shots when it's all the bums and chests and all this. Like, it's never gratuitous or whatever. It's serving a purpose completely, and visually you're taken on a journey that I was constantly going, this is amazing. This is amazing. Constantly all the way. Like, it's got this fantastic like Twilight Zone premise that escalates into absolute fucking batshit craziness. Fantastically. Jesus Christ. But yeah, performances amazing. Margaret Qualley, I knew her face. I didn't really. All I knew her from was from Death Stranding, the game.
No,
she plays somebody in Death Stranding.
You know her from
what do I know her from?
She's Leftovers. She's the thing. Yeah.
Fucking is. I knew it was something. I was just like, what TV show? Yeah, Death Stranding and The Leftovers. That's it.
And Poor Things.
She's the other one in Poor Things. Yeah. But she was fantastic. But yeah, just it's excellent. I know you don't give 5 out of 5 star rate, but I give this 5 out of 5. Just say, see this. You can see it anywhere. You can see it in your TV, like in your sitting room, and you can see it anywhere on your phone. It'll still all be great. But if you can see it in the cinema, just for the sound design and the sense of, like, I was front row, as I know no doubt you were, and it's just these moments where the screen being too big and being almost too close to the screen is absolutely where you should be when this movie is grabbing hold of you and you just can't escape, and it's holy fucking shit. I thought it was astounding. Fearless filmmaking on my part.
I think it's paced so well, and it's not empty of people, of other people. There are, but it is a relatively small cast, for where it is. But it's just, I love that it don't try to explain away why a lot of stuff is fucking completely 80s still. Like, why her being as you see in the trailer, like a fitness kind of fucking person on telly, which would have been a thing. Why would that still be a big, huge thing now? Like, why would that be a thing? Like, and they don't even have to bother with it because
don't need to. Yeah.
No, they don't need to. And that's the thing, because some movies we complain, shit, they didn't give us enough information. You
Mm.
don't need it here. You just, and that's what I love. And some of the shots are just amazing. Like the overhead one, there's one point where she's in the shower when she's in between cycles, and
Yeah.
it zooms out to make it look like a big,
Yeah.
long fucking thing, like she's at the bottom of a fucking chimney or something. And it's so simple but so well done. And the what's it called, the neighbor, through the fisheye hole and everything. And it's just, there's so many things like that. And it's really funny. You know what I mean? It's not just that it's gory and it's slick and stuff. It's genuinely laugh out loud at some points. Like she's her comic timing, like when she starts going off the rails a bit, is fucking brilliant. And it's done so well. It's not convoluted. It's just quality. I'm just a massive fan.
But that's the thing, that the fact that it is so it's so funny. It's laced with satire and body horror and societal commentary on the entertainment industry, and it's how it views and values and devalues women and all this kind of stuff is at the center of the movie. But it's everything around that it just goes full tilt all the way. It's just such confident filmmaking. She's just like, I don't give a shit if you like it or not. And if people see this, I just don't think anyone would come out of this and go, yeah, it was kind of okay. You're either going to absolutely love it or fucking hate it. And you're just going, why did you tell me go and see that? I just got sick on my popcorn. Or you'll come out of it and go, holy fuck, that was...
I've just had an experience.
It just blows you away in so many different ways. Like, and if all of them hit you at once, that's when you get that... I was just... the drive home, I was spacing out the drive home so much. Just like going, wow. Like just thinking back stuff.
I just said when I texted you, like I laughed. I was laughing on the way out to the car, but at the movie, but also at knowing you'd be sitting through it, and then just getting in the door, and then I was just fucking laughing about to myself.
Yeah,
and just like it's such a bananas finish to the movie, and as well, and in a lot of ways, it finishes almost like on one of the same shots that it starts on,
which is
which is cool, and it's
masterful.
Masterful. It's thoroughly enjoyable. I can't recommend it highly enough. Go and see it while it's because I think it's one of these movies that won't be in cinema too long. It happens a lot. Yeah. Max. So yeah, if you get out and catch it this week before it's gone, it's totally worth it. But yeah, I'm not sure if we can tell much more in the spoiler free, can we?
No, that's let's go and see it. It's fucking fantastic. Let's get into spoilers. There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of laughing, and
I only took one note, man. I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. One note.
My notes,
and it was answered straight away. It was like one note said, "When is this based? There's a USB, but there's 80 shit going on." And that was it. That was my only note, which was then I just like I couldn't care less. I'm just.
My notes, like when just before we came out, I just threw my notes up and just like go, and I try and edit, sometimes you got to edit some of the words that you've typed wrong. You're typing in the dark, looking at something. There's a lot of sentences here that just absolute gibberish. Just fucking looking at the screen, just typing away. Like, fucking hell. But Jeff, like first, like when I thought about the budget, like 70 million. It's amazing how this movie looks. For even take away all the kind of crazy batshit fucking body horror stuff, but just the way it looks premium in cinema, it's absolutely astonishing. But we'll let's get into how it opens. We're going to meander a lot here because my notes are all over the place, and all I want to talk about so many moments, but they're so far into the movie. So it just starts so beautifully and confident when we start with like an overhead shot. There's so many overhead shots in this movie that are just absolutely beautiful with a fried egg and a frying pan, and then there's an ejection goes into it, and then the yolk and the egg just kind of splits into two, and it's like ooh, and that's your whole kind of premise, what we're going to do. Or what Demi Moore is going to do. But then we're treated to an absolutely wonderful visual kind of metaphor in the shape of a single overhead shot of the creation of a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, Elizabeth Sparkle, and that's Demi Moore. and then we get just a fantastic time lapse of
them putting it
this
together.
through the
It's
years, putting
amazing.
it together, and then people walking over it, and then it starts getting a bit weathered, and people dropping stuff in it and cleaning it and cracking and stuff. And it's just obviously gone over the course of like 10, 15, 20 years. And it's like all straight away. We were talking about TV shows when you know something's going to be good. Well, I saw this scene, I was just grinning, going, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a really good movie. And then we cut to Demi Moore as Elizabeth Sparkle doing a workout show, and straight away I was like, holy fuck, Demi Moore looks fucking amazing. Like, oh my god, 62 and she's fucking killing it. And it's can't remember the name of the show, but like Sparkle with, you know, Elizabeth or whatever. And she's doing her 80s show with her kind of lycra fucking, you know, little fucking ankle warmers and kicks and stuff, and it's fantastic. And then she's obviously big star, but obviously a fading star. We see this corridor in the studio, and it's like an eerie horror. Yes, it's exactly it's the Shining corridor.
When she goes into that bathroom, it's another nod to it, because the bathroom is all white and red. It's another nod to it,
which is fucking brilliant. But it starts so quick, because she's in the corridor, and this visual is repeated a few times, and the corridor is all her posters, from big giant posters of her in it, and we find out it's her birthday, and it's just this has been her gig for the last 20 years, and it takes no time to get straight to the fucking straight into it. Like, she goes into the bathroom, she's into the cubicle, and then Dennis Quaid's character, who is, where have you been, Dennis Quaid? Where the fuck have you been, man? He is brilliant, deliciously hilarious in his over the top kind of performance. But again, it's like, does that person exist in the real world? Maybe not to that extent. It's a very caricature of, or like he's dialing it up to 11. But it's absolutely, like, this whole movie is kind of a hyper realistic, as you were saying, it just doesn't really. Those things don't matter. They're all
I think this is a good. This isn't. I suppose this is a good example of what I said at the start about. I found that Catherine and does it all the time. Whereas this is a perfect example of overacting. This is where you want it. You need to exaggerate those things that you want in the slimy fucking producer agent kind of person. You really want to go over the top, and that's what he does. Like, he is gross, and he's an absolute scumbag, and he's so two-faced, but he's brilliant.
People like him exist, absolutely, but here he's just dialing it obviously up to a bit level. Yeah. And even the perfect visual when it's that wide of the toilet and you see her, or the bathroom, you see her going to the cubicle, and then when he comes in, he walks just right up to the camera and just starts, he's having a piss, but his face is in the camera and he's on the phone, and to Elizabeth obviously overhears him saying, we need somebody younger, she's an agent star, and blah blah blah. He's just an absolute cunt, and it's a horrible moment for her, because he leaves and she comes out and she's like all a bit dejected and all that kind of stuff. She's driving along and she sees somebody tearing down one of her posters on the road, and then we get a fucking car crash scene out of nowhere. Just bang, fucking. And again, 17.5 million budget, but like the car crash scene alone, it's vicious. You just see the camera just stuck in the car and rolling, and then she goes to the hospital, and luckily she's escaped without any lasting damage, whatever. But when there's the doctor that's seeing her is leaves the room, and this younger kind of creepy doctor just like, I'm just going to do one more checkup. And that's when he starts doing the stuff in her spine, that's when I was thinking back, it's like, I've seen a poster or something with somebody with a split spine. It's just like, I started to get a bit unnerved straight away.
Did I think that dude, this is one of the very few gripes I have with the movie. How much makeup did that dude have on? Like, I feel like wardrobe went nuts with the fucking thing, because so much so that I was like, are they doing like some sort of like VFX on his face? Like, it was so much makeup on his face. It was just weird. I don't know why. Like, it was just like one of these, orange women that you see when you're in Copperface Jacks. It was mental. But when he starts feeling the spine and stuff, it's like, all right, shit, here we go. I thought it was like he'd do it by accident and then she'd want more. I wasn't sure how he was going to factor into it.
How they were going to get that going. But he just says to her, everything's fine. And then he says, you'd make a prime candidate. And she said, what? And he said, no, sorry, no, everything's fine. then leaves and she walks out of the hospital and she finds in her pocket then is a USB drive with the with a little note saying it changed my life. And you're like, oh, okay, here we go. At this point, then she meets an old friend, Fred, who is besotted with her, and he's like, "Oh my god, I love you, blah blah blah." And he gives her her number, and we come back to that later on. And we go back to her apartment, which is fucking amazing. Like,
Yeah,
her apartment,
it's like something like
unbelievable.
Grand Theft Auto, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
fucking gorgeous,
oh, it's
massive. Like,
gorgeous, just like
yeah,
floor to ceiling windows. And she plugs the drive into her TV and the video, which is great. The branding's great, just little yellow fucking letters and stuff. She plugs it in. The video says, "Oh, from the trailer, it's just like, do you want a better version of yourself? Would you like somebody younger and better and all this kind of stuff?" And um, the one kind of premise that they say in the video is that you would share 1 week each, and we'll get
yeah.
into that.
It's
The
very yeah.
rules, yeah, the
It's
rules
very
of
much
this,
a. It's very much a. You're not two people.
yeah.
You are one. You are one. Even when you're
Mm.
separated, you are still one. You're
Mm.
always one.
That is
Um,
reiterated a lot because there is, yeah, it's you'll spend 1 week as technically as each person, but it keeps saying, "Remember, you are one," and it's just like that's gonna come back later on. She obviously decides she throws it in the bin or whatever, but after some thought, she eventually gives the number a ring, and the voice on the phone asks for her address, and then says to take down their address. She eventually she gets a package from these guys.
so yeah, when she gets all this gear, I was looking at it going, okay, there's a lot here because it seems like okay, you have to do this injection, which is a one time, then throw it away, and then this has to do something else. You have to take out. So there was a bunch of different instructions I was trying to follow. It turned out to be very easy to follow
Yeah,
at the end. But at the start, I was like, hang on, give me a fucking second.
yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense. There's the instructions, I think, basically where that it's 1 week at a time. They give you this food supply, which basically keeps the other you alive and sustained for a week while the younger you is out there, and vice versa. And the younger person has to extract what is. I don't know if it's spinal fluid or
I
what it
think
is, but
yeah, spinal fluid.
yeah.
I imagine.
So you have to extract. I didn't know there was that much spinal fluid in the body, but anyway, you have to extract this and take a shot of it each one of the 7 days. Otherwise,
To
your body will
stabilize,
collapse.
yeah.
It's basically a stabilizer. And you're like, okay, well, they're the rules. Both of them have things to follow while they're in each other's bodies. And
Mm.
the first swap, because she's in the nip when she does the thing, and her writhing around on the ground and everything, like she acts the shit out of it.
Yeah, she almost thinks like, nothing's going to happen or whatever, and then it gets all fucking trippy and weird, and she just falls to the floor and just she hits her head, fucking bang. But it's the body when it starts to morph and you kind of start seeing stuff kind of inside her, and she's writhing around in pain. It's that moment that you're like, okay, here we fucking go. But this is like fucking 30 minutes into the movie. There's another like 1 hour and 50 minutes of fucking shit, and you're just going, holy fuck. Because like you see her body kind of morphing into something kind of almost like moving around inside her back and stretching the skin, and her pupils split, and then her fucking back starts to just open up and rip open. It's just like, oh fuck me sideways. And then something starts to come out of her back. It's like, it's obviously this is another version of her. She's birthing another version of her, which is just, yeah, the more you think about it, the more it just fucking just want to get sick. It's just it's unbelievable. And then we get this kind of crazy kind of light show that's almost like kind of a lot of crazy sound design. It's just like, what? And that's another cinema experience. You're going, fucking hell, this is cool. This is like just the switch and the other you kind of just beginning or whatever. And it's brilliant. And then we get Margaret Qualley's reveal, and she just stands up, and it's the new younger version, and it's everything is just so visceral about this, and it's just so incredibly shot. But she like there's a lovely shot where she's in front of the mirror, and the camera is the point of view of her, but then she's wiping the mirror, and you obviously don't see the camera, but the camera is moving along with her, and it's just orchestrated. Yeah. It's an amazing shot. It's just I love when people do that, when they use mirrors and have to hide a camera in clever ways. But she then she sews up Demi Moore's back.
That was because I was wondering, because like she split open. I was like, okay, well, they're going to get split into two. I was like, how did she survive a person, an entire person, bursting out of the back of her? You know, like, surely she can't. She can't be that. What? How? When are we going to see Demi Moore again? The next thing is you one fucking whips out a needle and thread and starts sewing her up. It's like fuck it out.
Yeah, and then we
yeah, so she's that's I suppose that's ready for the poster, isn't it? When you see the back with someone with the
exactly.
Yeah,
but we when she sews her up, and that's when Margaret Qualley stands up again. I would say like at the start. When we first see Demi Moore at the start of the movie, we get a title card, just like big giant title card, Elizabeth, and it's like that's Demi Moore's character for this. So in this bathroom scene, when she stands up again after sewing her, we get that big shot like Sue. You know, that's her fucking name, bang. Which obviously gets more wild later on, but she then when she walks outside and she starts to get a nosebleed, and then she's like, what the hell? And then she realizes, oh, that's when she needs a stabilizer. And there's so many injections into Demi Moore's back in this. It's fucking disgusting. And that's when she gets out the spinal fluid, and that's her stabilizer, and she has to do that every day. And then she realizes that she sees a notice on a piece of paper about the casting call for Demi Moore's now kind of vacant job. So she goes to the casting call, and the intro to this is like, it's amazing the way it's shot and the music, and it's just up close and visceral, and lights and color, and it's just her and her fucking lycra and close up of like a ridiculous amount of close ups of asses in this, and crotches and chests and lips.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is the actors. It could be body doubles for a lot of it, because there's so much of it. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, but it makes absolute perfect sense, serviceable to the movie. So she goes to the casting call.
It's not gratuitous just for the sake of it. Like, it's
And obviously Dennis Quaid meets her and is flabbergasted by her and hires her, but she has to tell him, that I'm only around every other week, because I can only be around 7 days at a time. And obviously, as we go on, that's going to become more of a problem. And just her walking around in slow mo, and with the music kicking into gear, and she's astonishingly beautiful woman. The music, I can't wait. Like, going to download the soundtrack. It's fantastic.
Well, I just love the absurdity of it. Like, so she goes on to do her thing, and she's got all the skills and the swagger of someone who's been doing it for years, because she has, but it's the absurdity of the fact that, first of all, your one has been doing it for 20 years, and she's the main draw. She's a superstar, Hollywood Walk of Fame, because she does a workout show once a week, and then this person now we're on like fucking, and she's a billboard and all this kind of shit, and now we're 20 years later, and now she Margaret Qualley is going to be the next big thing, and it's the next big person who has an 80s style fitness show. And it's just, you're kind of like, you don't even bother asking the question, like, why are they making it? Why is it this? Why is it not acting or something that would have changed? But it's like, no, it's just another 80s thing. She wears almost the same gear. It's just a way sexier routine. Whereas, Demi Moore's one is a very much an actual workout. Whereas Margaret Qualley's is just, let's just fucking get loads of fucking hip thrusts, and it's make it sexual as possible. But it's just, you don't even question. Like I said, I'd already gotten over is it the 80s, and I was like, I don't even care. Like, it doesn't matter. It makes it much more enjoyable that they're kind of using those two parallel things. It's to reflect that it's those two women. That's I just loved it, man. It's great, and he's such a sleazeball, and I thought I did think it was a little weird though, because she goes into his office afterwards, and he's like, okay, that's fine, we'll work around your sick mother, your sick whatever, we'll do whatever it takes. Like, why she was so charmed and delighted and all the rest of it. Like, this guy's a dickhead. Like, she knows he's a dickhead because of Demi Moore, and they share a certain amount. Why wouldn't she go somewhere else or something else? Like, she knows this dude's an absolute dickhead and would throw you to the wolves behind your back. He's a two-faced prick. I was like, why is that the place that she goes? To him. I thought it was a bit weird, but I don't know. So it's only a small gripe. As I said, I have a few small gripes, but most part.
But when they do a switch back then to me more, and she goes back to to the studio to collect her things, and the corridor is now empty with all her posters removed. And Dennis Quaid shows up again, literally just like, oh, I've been kind of nice, but hands her a box with all her stuff, and he's just like, fuck off, like, see you later. And then we kind of skip a little bit forward. Next time we switch and we see Sue again, just fucking, she goes out in the night on the town and comes back with some guy or whatever, and they're trying to get busy on the couch, and she starts getting a nosebleed because it's been 7 days. She's like, oh fuck, shit. So she needs to switch back. She kind of, because she's having fun with this guy, she goes, all right, like maybe I'll just take a little bit more. So you're supposed to, you've only 7, 1 to 7 capsules that you fill with spinal fluid. So she picks another one and just goes, I'll just get one more, maybe one more day.
There's also one weird thing, right? And this is while Sue is in control, and they obviously they can't keep just leaving a body on the ground. Because at the start, they're leaving each other's naked body on the bathroom floor, just with the fucking, the yolk in it for the syringe. But you don't want to be going in and taking a shit and there's someone lying there on the floor the whole time, stepping over them. So she finds there's hollow walls and stuff in
she renovates.
And such. Yeah, so she renovates. What insane work has she done as a tiler? Because she smashes that wall in with a sledgehammer, and then she's drilling and all the rest of it, and then that's where we get the creepy neighbor because he's banging, stop making noise, and she comes to the door and he's expecting Izzy Sparkle, but it's this absolute bombshell of like
it's a great scene.
30-year-old
hilarious, like.
And he just starts fumbling over his words, and he's like, no, it's fine, and home improvement, you ever need a hand, and da da da. And she's just like, and she closes the door and goes back in, and then we see that she's built, like all the tiles that she had smashed down, she's built this fully push-in wall, like invisible wall. How the fuck did she know how to do that? Where did the tiles? Where did all the shit come from?
It's pretty cool fucking hidden door, like.
Yeah.
With no handle, you just push and it just closes itself. But yeah, when they eventually switch back, when she goes back to the guy after taking that extra day, there's a bit where the guy unzips the back of her fucking dress and all this fucking organs fall out, and then and Demi Moore wakes up and it's just like, whoa, what the fuck? And you realize was that some kind of dream or whatever? Like, did she actually take that extra syringe or that extra day? But Demi Moore gets up and notices very creepily that one of her fingers is now very old and fucked and haggard and kind of it's just one finger. And then so she rings up the number again and she's just like, yeah, what happened? I think there was, somebody, she might have stayed, an extra bit long or whatever. And is there a way to reverse this? And he's like, voice on the other side, just like, no, that's whatever is taken extra from one is taken also from the other side. So you need to respect the balance. And that's one of those moments where you're just going, oh, that's great. It's a wonderful way to explain it. No one's going to fucking respect that. So yeah, but and every week she has to go to the address again to get a new week's kit. But then she's out. Demi Moore is out in a cafe, and there's one moment where she looks across and one of the creepiest fucking old men ever, just kind of staring at her, and he's just like, it's a long time, isn't it? A week. And she's like, what the fuck? And then he fumbles over and he drops a card. There's like 207 on it, and I don't know if we mentioned that yet. When Demi Moore first got her package, it had card 503 in it, and then you go to the address.
Well, so she saw his hand because the nurse in the thing had a birthmark on his hand, and this old dude has the exact same birthmark.
Yeah, so he's the guy from the hospital, that creepy makeup wearing doctor.
This is the week where she calls up your man, is it not? Because you see her putting the gloves on and stuff when she calls up the guy that had known her from school, Fred. Yeah. I think this is the week that she calls him because she's going to get dolled up and put everything on, and then she just fucking gets angry because of how she looks out. She's about to leave the house, and she looks out and sees the big billboard of Margaret Qualley outside, looking, gorgeous and all the rest of it. And
that's very,
and it's just
that's a brilliant scene because she's going on a date with him, and like where before she had her dodgy kind of finger, she'd kind of dismissed him at the beginning of the movie, but now she's like, oh, maybe he does adore me, maybe we'll go on a date. But before the date, she can't get how pretty. Yeah,
she just wants Margaret to be wanted.
Wants to be wanted, and she does her makeup, and then she can't leave. She goes back and takes off the lipstick, and then does her hair, and then does something else, gets dressed, and you end up just smearing fucking makeup all over her and wrecking her hair and just losing the plot. And then we just cut to like a load of missed messages from him, and she's just sitting there eating a load of fucking junk food. And the apartment's just going to absolute fucking shit. And it's just, yeah, it's the balance. It's like someone else's life starting to take off. This lady's life is fading out of control.
And I suppose, and it's, I mean, obviously, Sue's side is more from the selfish side of things. Like, she comes back and she's disgusted because of all your one just, you know, Demi Moore just basically just sits around eating junk food and watching telly and stuff, whereas Demi Moore is pissed off at her because she's going out fucking wrecking the place and leaving cigarette butts, fucking, you know, booze everywhere, doing God knows what, you know, and it's just she's being so reckless. Yet, you know, it's she becomes so jealous of this person, who was essentially her.
Herself,
you know,
a younger version of herself.
Yeah, she's so jealous of one version of herself, and the other version of herself is pissed off and disgusted by this, you know, older version of herself. You know, and it's that they just never until the very, very end, they never get the point of you're the same person. You know, they refer to each other as she multiple times throughout the movie, and it's so well done, so well done.
Yeah, and Sue's life and career is now taking off, and Dennis Quaid tells her, you know, she's now got a chance to host a fucking New Year's Eve show or something, some prestigious thing on TV. So she obviously goes, you know, she's gone back to Demi Moore's body and kind of going, look, I just need just one more day, and then we get a montage of her constantly going back and just one more day, and she just takes one more day, and then when we get a switch back again, now Demi Moore's body is half of it is completely fucked, like she's in fucking bits, and she rings the number again. She's just like, what can I do? Like I'm in bits now, and just like fucking half her body is all fucking old and wrinkly and weird and like kind of, yeah, totally fucked up. But the voice on the phone says, okay, well, you know, you have the power. If you want this to stop, we can stop it right now. And she's like, yeah, I'd like to stop. But then she takes a thought and she's just like, actually, no, I don't want it to stop. And she's in the kitchen. Then she starts fucking slapping herself in the face and to make it stop. And it's just like Demi Moore's performance, like we've said, she's amazing, but like she's amazing from the start. But every time there's a new switch, there's something more asked of her continuously. And she rises to the challenge every single fucking time. It just gets more and more weird and preposterous, but it's totally just like believable, the gross leg. Unbelievable to say. The gross
scene with the gross leg, because the leg is like calcified. It's that old, decrepit and everything, and like she wants to get up and like reach the thing on the shelf, and she has to like literally break the fucking calcification, and like she's just like, and she fucking breaks it so she can stand up, which was a bit. I did think that was a bit weird because as we get on to the next part, she could barely move. Whereas when we start getting to the next part, she's able to run and fucking sprint around the place. You're like, hang on a second, she couldn't even get out of a chair a minute ago. Little bit, but yeah, I think if it's the same scene we're talking about. She's watching on telly, and they're all talking. She's looking at an interview of Margaret Qualley on telly, and everybody's falling over it. And and they're basically asking her, you know, she've obviously taken over from, you know, thing. What did you know? She's like, not really. You know, she was never really an inspiration. My mom used to watch her. You know, that's how old she is, kind of thing.
Jurassic Fitness, she calls her.
Jurassic Fitness. Yeah, she's just making digs at her, and so she's fucking. And that, I love this because she's cooked books out and she's making all this different type of fucking food, big fucking chicken. I like that. It's all the food stuff is done so.
It's like hilarious. She goes into like.
She's funny. She's laughing and joking. Yeah, she's brilliant because she's got fucking disheveled hair and the watching, and she's like a crazy cat lady kind of thing. And she's got the fucking dressing gown on, and she's just, the hair is all over the place, and she's fucking taking the piss out of Margaret Qualley on telly, and it's just it's brilliant. And like the food it's like something like from, you know, Dexter or one of these things where they or Hannibal, you know, where it's all real and they show the food. It's almost like it's body parts and
close up, you know, just grip and tearing off meat and stuff.
So it was really, I loved that scene. Again, it's her showing a really funny, you know, funny side on top of some like the stuff that we see. She just shows the range that she shows throughout the movie is just something else. And like we see then when following that scene when it switches back to Sue again, Sue gets up and you see like
because the apartment has been getting worse and worse. But this time you see it's just food and shit everywhere. She's covered because there's outside that big giant floor to ceiling window. There's a billboard of Sue. So Demi Moore's character has papered newspaper all over the window, and it's just as a set. It just looks. It's vile and disgusting, but it's amazing. Like, it just looks fucking. That's visual representation.
Did you think a little bit watching going, I woke up in parties like this. Like, look around the place going, look around the place going, I'm pretty sure I woke up in states like this.
I think I've been there. Yeah. So yeah, like Sue is kind of like her. She's so disgusted at that side, like of herself, of this other person, that she goes into Demi Moore's body and starts just fucking filling up jars with the spinal fluid, jars and jars. And then we cut to 3 months later, and you're like, oh, fucking hell. What the fuck is going to happen here? So we have, like, the apartment now is pristine and it's brilliant. And Sue is staying with her boyfriend, and she goes into, I think at one point she goes in to get one more bit of spinal fluid, but it's kind of brown now. And it's just like, oh shit. And so I think she rings up the phone, and she's just like, there's been a problem, whatever. And the voice in the other line, or in the other end, says, well, you've reached the end, like the end of the fluid. You need to switch again to regenerate the fluid again. And she's just like, she doesn't want to fucking do that, but she legs it back into the bathroom and collapses. And her boyfriend hears this and goes to the bathroom door. But that's where the switch happens back to Demi Moore, and holy fucking shit. This is because you don't quite see her yet. You just kind of see that there's some great, when there's initial switches, you see kind of first person point of view, and she's kind of locking the door, and then you get a glimpse in the mirror of this like fucking hunchbacked, bald, like fucking crazy, fucking tits sagging. It's unbelievable.
It's insane prosthetic work. Like it looks like the that little, the deformed guy from 300. That he can't be a Spartan.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when I saw it. It's just like, oh my god, but done so much better. Like, she's oh my god. So the boyfriend absolutely fucking eventually, he just leaves. He just like freaks out because to be more screaming from the bathroom, leave me alone. All this shit, just like, what the fuck? So to be more then rings the number, and she says like, I want it to stop. And the person on the phone says, well, you can get the termination kit, but you have to go to that place again. Just like, and that's when you're saying like that she can move a bit better now, but you kind of go with that. So she dresses up in a jacket and stuff and just kind of shuffles down the fucking road to get her kit. And then she's about to, brings out Sue's body back in the apartment, and it's like a Pulp Fiction moment where she just has to stab her in the heart with the termination syringe with the fluid. So she's about to stab her, and she actually hears like, are you sure? This voice almost in her head, are you sure you're going to be on your own now? And she says no. So she stabs her and presses down the fluid, and then she realizes like she just freak out that like, oh shit, like I'm going to lose this. As much as I hate all this, I'm going to lose this better version of myself, this link to a younger, fucking more attractive, cooler, more successful version of herself. So she says like, I can't do that. So she goes in and just gets 2 bits of fucking tube or whatever, and just kind of injects her blood back into Sue. Something like that, yeah.
So I think, so now she's like, she's
trying to revive her.
But she only doesn't give her all of the injection. She gives her like maybe 2/3 of the injection, and then stops. And then I suppose it's the mixture of trying to end it and then trying to fucking start it up or whatever. For whatever reason, ends up leaving with both of them being alive and awake at the same time.
They both wake up, and it's just like this fucking creepy moment. But then Sue looks down when they're standing opposite each other in the apartment. She looks down and sees the syringe. Just I love the way they just write termination on.
Termination.
Termination.
Black liquid, like
So she freaks out, and then just like they have a fight, and Sue beats the living fucking snot out of her. And
I think this is cool because we've got 3 months she's been in the body. You know what I mean? For 3 months, Sue, and so Sue has fucking taken so much of it that she's got like super strength. Like when she when she kicks her across the room, like
Oh,
she goes
fucking hell.
fucking
Through a
flying and
fucking
through a
table,
table.
yeah.
So like she's like almost getting superhuman,
Mm.
from taking so much of this stuff. And it's cool. She beats the shit out of her.
Yeah, you're kind of, this is where it just doesn't shy away when she's beating the shit out of her, but then she drags her into the bathroom and just like picks her up and shows her face in the mirror, and then just smashes her face into the mirror about fucking 6 or 7 times. And then to me climb or crawls out into the sitting room, and then I thought like, oh my god, she's gonna stand on her fucking head or something, but she just starts to just kick her in the fucking ribs over and over and over and over again until she pretty much just fucking kills her by just the blood everywhere. And it's just such a violent way to like just kicking somebody in the body, not like one of those, oh, I'm gonna throw a TV in your head or something. It's just because it takes like they give a lot of time to this beatdown. It's not just
Yeah.
like, oh, she kicks it, but yeah, she kicks living shit out of her, and then she goes to New Year's Eve show. And here's the fly coming to the fucking fore. Like she's at the New Year's Eve show and she feels a little bit off. So she goes to the bathroom and she just coughs and a bit of blood in her mouth. And then she looks down and she picks something up in her hand from the sink. And you're just going, it's fucking, please be a tooth. Please be a tooth. And it's a tooth. And then she starts to just pull her teeth out. Yeah, and this is one of several moments, but one of the most audible moments where I went, oh, holy fucking shit. And I started saying that probably every 2 minutes for the rest of the movie. Yeah, just Jesus Christ, it was just fucking, yeah, amazing. And she obviously has an idea. Here's up to her head, oh, make a better version of yourself. So you're just like, oh, she's going to try and birth a better version of herself now. And it's just oh, holy Christ. But she pulls off a fingernail in the fucking lift, and it's just, Jesus. As gross as this is, there's still fingernails. Just a fingernail coming off. It's just like, oh, that's the worst one. That's the worst one for me. But when she's in the lift, then her ear falls off, and it's like she eventually fucking gets home. But you were talking about the camera camera movement, the camera choice, and the proximity of the camera to people, especially with Dennis Quaid earlier on. But here it's right up in her face as she's fucking running and panicked, and it's fucking fantastic. But then she gets back and injects what's left of this. Oh yeah, on the syringe that when she first used it for the first time ever, it says single use only. Yeah. She should have read that. She should have went, maybe. But she's obviously in panic mode, so she syringes herself, and then she starts riding around in pain, and you see something starts to happen. She's in her back, and then it comes out, and it's that POV shot again, where it's looking around and breathing, and you're like, what the fuck is this coming out of? It's obviously something. It's not going to be as pretty as Margaret Qualley, but it's the reveal of it. It's a POV shot, so it's looking around, and then it just looks up into the mirror for a second and looks back down. You get a fucking half-second glimpse of this fucking, I don't know how to describe this. It's just like this, like half a face with a mouth and this
it's
weird
like,
shit. And it's just like,
if you watched, it reminded me of the Rat King, thing in The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking, it's hideous. It's got like teeth everywhere. It's got random eyeballs. It's got like a full Demi Moore face on the back.
Face
like her,
on the back is just that face is constantly just a gasp and screaming with a hand coming out of the back. So it's going, just
whole extra arm.
My God.
It's gross. She's just like a monster. It's
just monstrous, bulbous fucking thing. And it's when you see that, then it comes up to the title, like monster, like Elisa Sue or something. Just like, here we fucking go. And in a beautiful moment, you just go, where is this going? But the monster wants to go back to the New Year's Eve fucking thing, so it starts to get itself ready. Put on a necklace and fucking put an earring on, and puts on the dress again
because it has no ears, and it's putting the earrings on, and it's just swishing them into the side of its head, just getting the pin and going. And it's just got these jewels hanging off the side of its head,
Oh, it's
and
just,
it's
but the
just
fact that it put on the dress again, and then
oh yeah, yeah,
it tears something from a poster in the apartment, Demi Moore's poster, and just sticks it to its face and puts some lipstick on the thing,
yeah.
and then just fucking just heads out back to the New Year's Eve thing. You're just going, oh my god! So go back again. You're kind of suspending disbelief how it actually gets back in there. Like someone at the door goes, "Oh, thank God you're back," or whatever. It's just like, what the fuck? How did it get in the building? But like everyone's waiting at this, this New Year's Eve show, and it's just like on stage, a theater stage, and there's all these dancers come out, and it's like, dude, in the spotlight, this thing just kind of walks out, and there's a brilliant like reaction to some of the dancers who are obviously there and just paid to be dancers, and like, yeah, 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 but they're kind of looking to the left and right, just like, what the fuck, what the fuck's happening here? Like,
Trying to
yeah,
maintain a
just
smile and stuff.
and as it's approaching the stage, they play like a kind of grand 2001-esque kind of like, dun,
Yeah,
dun. And yeah, and everyone sees it in its full glory. And I would have thought people would absolutely fucking freak out straight away when you see this thing. But yeah, it's just kind of standing there, and it kind of tries to talk to the audience. Just kind
yeah.
of
It's
nice,
like
just
it's
like,
still me.
it's still me.
I'm Sue, and
I
I'm
missed you guys so much. But then it starts to fucking freak out, and like kind of a boob kind of comes out of its eye and just falls on the ground. And then people just go, "What the fuck?" And they absolutely just completely freak the fuck out. And she's still, no, you know, it's still me. And then things just go fucking bananas. Someone eventually just storms the stage and just chops the fucking head off this thing. And then its arm fucking breaks off, and it's just the blood from the arm just keeps going and just covers
that is,
everyone. It's just
it's amazing.
madness.
It's just sprays like a fucking fire hose.
Yeah.
Everybody, people
And
are
it's
falling on it.
carnage.
Everything. It's the whole fucking audience are getting soaked by this blood. I think they even switch it to black and white. I think at one point when they do an
Yeah.
overhead
It's
headshot,
just,
so much of it. It's just
and it's
wild.
just, yeah, its camera is just hyperactive now, and it's just fucking absolute carnage, and yeah, blood and everything everywhere. And this thing fucking walks out, and it's just kind of trying to walk down the halls, and it's the hall where all the posters were and all this thing, the visual motif of this hall, but now it's creature walking down, spraying the fucking walls with blood everywhere, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. It gets outside, and then just kind of falls over, and when it lands on the ground, it just kind of bursts and explodes on the ground, and it's just like, holy fucking Jesus. But then the face on the back is one bit that kind of actually starts to detach itself from the dead carcass, and and just kind of crawls along the ground. It's a round little gooey thing crawling with a
just
face in the back,
face on
just
it,
Demi Moore's face in the back going, ah! And then we get an over the head shot, and straight away you're going, they're going to end it so well, and it just crawls over, and it crawls over the top of the Hollywood Hall of Fame Elizabeth Sparkle star, and then just kind of dies there. And we see like the next day it's all kind of crusty, and someone comes over and just cleans it, and
those electric fucking
cleaner,
ground
and then we're
cleaner.
yeah,
just
we're
left
just
the
left
star
with
again.
the star, and then it just ends. And
Yeah.
I just went, wow. Just
Yeah.
like,
I was
fucking
just
applaud. I just went, that's absolutely fucking brilliant. Like, you stuck the landing. It's mad, but you're just going, it's amazing.
And that's it. I always, because I was one when that was happening, I was like, okay, obviously it's gonna, it's crawling towards the star. There was a small part of me that was kind of worried. It's like, please don't give us a fucking any sort of cut. I want it to end right now. When the fucking thing goes over, like, please end it now. Please end it now, because
that's
it was just
perfect.
because it was perfect. And then sure enough, the fucking credits come up. It was like, oh, that was amazing.
It's just brilliant. And then the music over the credits again is brilliant. And even the credits, it's just like big fucking giant block letters, like white text on black and then black text on white. It's just, even that, you're just going, even the credits are fucking brilliant. Like, yeah, I was astounded. Like, this would have been, even if it was like a Long Legs kind of thing where it kind of lost its way a little bit at the end, I would have still went, geez, that's 4-star fucking, what a great movie. You know, shame about the ending. With movies like this, you're generally not let down by the ending, but the ending is never as good as the previous 2/3 of the movie, more often than not. But this, I think it's all leading to that last 20 minutes, which is just like, wow, they actually went there.
It's so long. When was the last time you got like because you mentioned The Fly at the start. Like, when was the last time we got a body horror, something like this, that was as good, like as produced and everything as well? Like, I mean, you think of The Thing. Like, The Thing is up there with one of the best of all time.
Absolutely.
And that was all about the tension, the fucking who is it, and that. It's incredible, and that's a obviously different type of body horror to this. But this type of movie, we haven't seen an amazing one in ages. They always end up just being B movies, and we're using these kind of over the top effects just for the sake of it. And but this,
or it's just all body horror for the sake of body horror, like a Hostel or something like that. They just go too much to like, oh, we're going to shock you. And this isn't really about that. It does shock you, but there's a very clear satirical message it's getting across there about, as we're saying, fucking the entertainment industry and beauty, there's so many women.
Yeah, there's plenty. We didn't even go into too much of the symbolism, but there's plenty of messages all about that kind of stuff, and about aging and how how women are treated differently from men and all this kind of stuff, and just and rightly so, and it's there's loads of that in it. But it's a feast for the eyes, as you said, Daz, for the ears as well. It's just a wonderful movie that I wasn't expecting, because I wasn't on my radar. I only until like a little while ago, and I was looking at like a YouTube compilation of trailers for movies that are out this year. I was like, holy shit, that looks awesome. Yeah. And then before I knew it, I was like, holy shit, the date's coming up. It's going to be released soon. And I'm over the moon that it's as good as it was.
Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of a shame that that movies like this, it's not mainstream enough to get any awards interest, but to me, more, I think, is it's one of the best performances of the year I've seen.
That's a shame.
She's done by a fucking mile, but it's too grotesque. It's too niche. You're
not getting any BAFTAs or Oscar noms for this movie, which is a fucking shame, because she is incredible in this. And I know from sure of the plenty of the people who give horror awards, I'm sure she's definitely going to win them.
Yeah.
Because she's outstanding. But yeah, it's wonderful, and I would love it to be one of those things where it's her brought back in to start seeing her in more shit, because I haven't seen anything in ages. It's really just small roles or stuff that I'm not really going to be into. So I would love if this ended up being something new from her. We start to see her more again, in any capacity, because she's just fucking class.
Yeah, but yeah, and that's pretty much our review. I mean, I think we've said it all. There's so much more to this movie. Like, this just it's an experience from a visual side, audio side, performance side, just the directing and the choice of shots and just the visuals, and prosthetics. The use of prosthetics is fucking brilliant in this. This movie will be a fly. It will be a thing. In 30 years, you still look back at this and go, that looks fucking brilliant. Yeah, and I think it'll always look fucking brilliant. And the director is, I loved that you said that the Revenge, her other movie, was a different genre, because, if somebody makes a horror film and then they go and they make another one and make another one, but if she's kind of genre hopping.
To be clear, it's still, there is plenty of gore in Revenge.
Yeah, gore, fair enough. Yeah.
But it's used really well. There's plenty of prosthetics used in that as well, and it's done so well. The use of blood, especially towards the end, it's insane. Like, I mean, maybe that'll be her trademark for her movies, that it's just but it's definitely worth a watch. It really is Revenge. If you can, I don't know if sometimes I found it obviously nefarious means, but a couple of years ago when I watched it. But it's I'm sure it's available maybe on one of the streaming things now. But
go see it. Movie of the year for me. Absolutely.
Well done, Daz. You fucking nailed that to go through it. And I have to say, to reiterate, I am over the moon that you loved it.
That's great.
Your love of horror is growing and growing each time we do one of these. So it's great. Look, we'll finish it up there. And so thanks to everybody for listening and watching and all that stuff. Keep on reviewing, liking, sharing, and send us any feedback as well, because we love that. Even if it's negative, because Daz is going to read it, I'm not. So it's just send it on. So look, thanks from me and thanks from Daz, and we will see you all on the next one.